Hello, everyone. I've been hiding backstage for most of this conference because we had some technical issues, but I want to thank you all for helping us make this a very successful second Australian Apitherapy Association conference. We've been very fortunate to be supported by some very prominent researchers from many countries who've shared with us their new scientific research, their published research, their practical work. Some speakers have shared how they have a lifestyle devoted to apitherapy, such as Jan in Bali. And we've even had some very, very interesting veterinary presentations from Argentina and Brazil, and also some incredible information from Professor Mamdouh Abdulman from Egypt about the work he's done treating corneal blindness with honey, which I'm sure was a revelation to many people. Once again, the apitherapy community has been tremendously generous with their time. We've kept many people awake around the clock in many countries around the world to join us live. We've had some technical issues, but everybody's been incredibly understanding. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting us, submitting their presentations, joining us live, watching the incredible presentations, and helping us to make this a very successful conference once again. So I would like to thank very much Imran and his team from Convexco, the organisers of the conference, who did some incredible work making speaker artwork for many of the speakers to post on their social media, to work with us to raise the profile of apitherapy in Australia. It's a big ask because many of you know that apitherapy is unknown in this country. However, as I'm sure many of the attendees know now, apitherapy is actually part of the main medical systems of many countries. And we're very fortunate to have the professors, the scientists, the doctors working in this space, sharing with us work that they just do all the time using apitherapy as natural medicine. So I might ask now the conference organisers to help me bring on stage some people who are awake at this time of the day. It's only early afternoon in Australia, but it's terribly early morning in many parts of the world where our regular contributors are probably still waking up. So if they do join us, that's nothing short of a miracle. But then the apitherapy family, the API family, are pretty good at miracles. So I think we're being joined by an Aussie, Dr. Trong Tram from University of Sunshine Coast. Thank you so much. You're awake, Dr. Tran. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, British.
Can you tell us what you feel about
Hello. A little bit loud.
and we have coming from the United States.
Joining as well.
For joining us. Your response has been to the conference.
Oh yeah, it was great time. Yes. I joined and I listened. I'm trying to pick up all the information as much as I can, and there's amazing actually. A lot of information in different areas. My research expertise and the current research focus I'm doing on propolis, only Australian propolis, but I can learn new things from honeys and venoms and also royal jellies, which I think I will focus in the future, trying to find out the chemistry as part of the whole story of apitherapies in the future, because I'm a chemist. Yes.
You're excellent. I loved your talk too, by the way.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Yes, Australian propolis.
John, I was very impressed when you said that some propolis, Australian propolis has the same anti-cancer activity as tamoxifen. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, that's just a literature review. I didn't do that study, and that was done by the group in University of Sydney 10 years ago. And I think that is one of the first study about Australian propolis. And they focus on the Kangaroo Islands propolis, where they found Kangaroo Islands propolis produce very unique and novelty regarding about the chemical composition compared with the others propolis in the world.
Wow.
And follow with that, I'm now trying to investigate broader. So we started the project 3 years ago. No, 2 years, early 2020, and trying to do the surveys about the quality of Australian propolis. So we collected propolis around the country, across 6 states, and connected to Australian beekeepers as well. And they was very exciting, and they're happy to donate the sample for our study. So I'm very exciting to show you the results. Um, this time after all the results already published.
Yeah, I was listening too. Very good. Excellent.
Thanks.
Propolis was instrumental in my recovery from Lyme disease.
Yes, I hope so.
I
And
ate it every day. Still do.
yes, I've got quite a lot of feedback from people, from beekeepers. Some people, they say is they use propolis to put in the coffee every morning,
Yeah.
like a piece of propolis. And he told me like he didn't pick up any fever or cold for many years.
Yeah.
Yes, and he sent his sample to me, and then I tested just the total phenolics and also the chemical profile, and ends up that his propolis is one of the best propolis in Australia
Oh,
in
wow.
my list. I show yes, and the others examples like from the another ladies in Tasmania, she got the propolis and she used that for the wound healings in her horse.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and ends up, yes, polyphenolics in her propolis is very high compared with the others. And
Oh,
that
wow.
is one of the unique in Tasmania as well.
Yeah, I
But
would.
they're very diverse, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I read that many of the propolis around the world are very similar, and but I know that there was a doctor in New Mexico that did a trial on children that were allergic to antibiotics, and he did it with honeys, and he found the New Mexico honey that is grown in the pinon pine forests to be almost equivalent to the Melaleuca honey of New Zealand. And I thought maybe I would send you some propolis from these pinon pine trees because it's red in color. It's very, very spicy. And I think it would be, it would probably be a market strong, very, very
Oh,
powerful.
excellent. Yes, I'm happy to collect that and do the test for you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll be in touch for sure.
Yeah,
I have
sure. Yes.
many, many pounds of it now.
Yes. Some people they heard about the propolis and their therapeutic value, but some people actually they don't know. Mostly people collect honey and they just think propolis just waste and then they discard them. But actually, we can use propolis for therapeutic purpose in the future.
Yes. Even currently, I use a friend of mine makes a balm with it's the balm of Gilead, and then he uses dragon's blood from a tree, and then he uses propolis from New Mexico, and that balm is amazing on hemorrhoids. It literally stops itching within seconds and heals.
Ah,
It's very powerful, and I've been telling him to market it for hemorrhoids because I was hit by lightning in 2004 before I got Lyme disease, and the lightning is what really injured my internal system, and that what brought on the Lyme disease. But since the lightning, I had a lot of difficulty absorbing minerals, and but I found propolis to be one of the most therapeutic things for my gastrointestinal health.
Interesting to know.
I eat
Yes,
it almost.
Australia. We're lucky that we have at least two type of propolis from two different type bee. So the honeybees also provide the propolis. So what I presented in my talk today is, and they're mainly from honeybee propolis. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we also have the native stingless bee propolis.
Uh-huh.
And if you, it's easier to distinguish. If you hold the propolis, honeybee propolis, and native stingless bee propolis, their flavor different.
Uh-huh.
The fragrance different. Native stingless bee propolis very strong.
Uh-huh.
And like I told Bridget, like I'm thinking that we better to test native stingless bee propolis for some people has lung cancer or something because very strong essential oil is there.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting. I wonder how that would relate to America because I know America had mostly stingless bees before European honeybees came.
Mm.
And I don't know that anybody's done studies. And I know that from what I've read, that in America, any of the native bees, the stingless bees, they cannot tolerate even maybe 5% of pesticides. It just kills them. Whereas honeybees
Oh,
are very resilient and can live in 50% pesticide environments and survive, whereas the native stingless bees cannot.
right.
It's
Um,
very
how about
interesting.
the? Do you have you heard about the dew from beekeepers there? How much propolis they can obtain every year
In New
from what
Mexico,
hive?
it depends. I think per hive is interesting. It depends on the rain we get, the water, the spring. Here where I live at 7,000 feet altitude, so it's high mountain desert. And if we get freezes in the spring, and we'll lose some years, we'll have no fruit on any of the trees if we get freezes late. And then so it really depends, I think, on each year. This year we had a very wet summer, and I would say out of one hive I probably got 1 ounce of propolis per hive, which
Okay.
I don't know if that's a lot. It was more than I've ever seen. It was quite a bit. And
All right.
here.
Compared to honeybees, native stingless bees in Australia, they produce quite high propolis per hive. So that's why beekeepers, particularly native beekeepers, they're keen on to develop the native stingless bee propolis as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, native bees produce less honey, but more propolis than honeybees.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if
Yeah.
do they use Langstroth style hives? And then like do they use propolis traps, where they have it's like a screen they put over the hive and then the bees fill it with propolis?
Yes, some people they apply that to
Yeah,
collect more propolis.
yeah, yeah. Well, this has been a
We
great.
we actually we learning from Brazilian and also some country in New Zealand and also Europe because propolis is actually the emerging industry in Australia. We just
Uh-huh.
started. Yes.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to play a part in all this. I want to come to Australia, and
Yes.
I have a lot of Lyme patients there that seem to be having a difficult time dealing with Lyme. So that's my main focus is the bee venom with but all my patients I recommend that you get on propofol.
Australia had
I didn't hear that.
Lyme patients have a very fish doesn't exist here, but it does.
And doctor, where do you live?
I'm living in Sunshine Coast of Australia. That's part of the Queensland state in the
Uh-huh.
east coast. Yes.
The east.
Yeah, east coast.
Excellent. Beautiful, huh?
Close to
Yeah.
the beach, I think.
Close to the beach. Oh, good.
Yes, Sunshine Coast.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see if there's any other questions. I guess we're backstage, but we're facing the other audience. I'm not seeing this. See,
Yes.
here's a chat. Let's see what's going on with the chat. John, you are a star. Please take the conversation ahead. Well, thank you. So, anyways, the big thing that I'm working on that has a lot to do with the globe and Lyme disease as well as COVID long haul. And one thing I'm working on here, which I'm hoping to take worldwide anyway, is a good friend of mine was an international senior scientist she's a senior advisor to the World Health Organization, to the National Institutes of Health, and the U.S. government. And she has Lyme disease at 78 years old, and she has written 4 new international disease codes for Lyme disease. And these disease codes are for insurance companies to pay for extended care of people suffering from Lyme disease. And what we're trying to do is a professional clinical trial of as many patients as possible to show the efficacy of bee venom acupuncture using this holistic ancient Japanese and Tao method, 5-element acupuncture method. But instead of needles, it's only bee venom, and maybe propolis would be because it's a bee product, could be in the clinical trial. And that what we're trying to do is show the efficacy of bee propolis and bee venom together, being able to eradicate these diseases that are costing right now many people all of their money and most of their life quality. In fact, in the United States, the number one way people die of Lyme disease is suicide. And I'm also a volunteer search and rescuer. I'm a whitewater kayak specialist, and that's what I used to do before I got Lyme disease. I was a whitewater guide. But I still volunteer today to do suicide recovery because we have a suicide destination bridge here. So preventing suicide in Lyme patients has become one of my inner goals. And so I travel all over the United States to help people that are threatening to commit suicide with bee venom, with Lyme disease. And so I show up on these people and then give them their first treatments with bee venom and try to help them see the light, and then continue on coaching with them to get them healing and away from suicidal thoughts using bee venom. And so we're trying to hit this problem straight on because honestly, before I used bee venom, I was disabled from Lyme disease. And I had 2 young small children and was unable to work, unable to think straight, unable to be emotionally calm. I was very easy to anger and in a lot of pain. And suicide was actually becoming a daily thought for me. And I'm not a suicidal person, but bee venom Lyme disease brought me to my knees. And literally immediately in my first treatment with my teacher, Sensei Voice, the bee venom showed me that I would probably heal. It was that fast. I mean, literally in seconds, I was able to start feeling connections in my nervous system. I was able to feel for the first time in months, my body warmed up, and I felt like I could handle swimming in cold water, and instead of being averse to cold. And then after my first treatment, by the next morning, I was actually smelling for the first time in years and tasting. And I had no more vertigo, and I was very happy. I'd slept like I hadn't slept since I was a high schooler, a little kid, and it just turned on my nervous system. And since then, I have a clinical trial going right now in California and Florida, where we're taking head injured people that have had recent traumatic brain injuries, and then we're analyzing their brain before bee venom and after bee venom. And the results are amazing. I mean, people are literally, it's changing their lives in seconds, bringing back sleep, bringing back vitality, thinking, the ability to articulate. I have a close friend here in New Mexico that suffered a severe head injury, and 9 months after injury, he was still disabled. It wasn't really able to work, and literally 3 bee stingers on his brain, and it changed his life. But it was very interesting seeing how it happened. Once we treated him, he actually moved backwards 9 months in motor skill, as if he had just had the accident. He wasn't able to walk well. He had a lot of neurologic spasticity. But he said, meanwhile, even though his body wasn't functioning the way he thought it would, his brain was clear as a bell. He said it felt like a foggy glass, kind of a cake pan had lifted off his eyes, and he could see everything very clearly for the first time in 9 months. It took him 3 hours to get 100 yards across the street back home with his girlfriend helping him. But by the next morning, he had all of the spasticity had disappeared. And he had, for the first time in 9 months, he had the thought to go for a run. And he was so surprised that he even had the thought. He thought, what do you mean? Who is this in my head saying I should go for a run? And he ended up going for a run. And then he went into work and he started ski patrolling again. And all of his cohorts and workers were shocked that he had changed literally overnight. And they wondered what had happened to him. And he was telling them about how I stung him with bees, and it changed his life. And since then, he's had maybe 8 treatments, and he was able to continue working through the entire winter as a ski patrol. And now he's not needing the treatments, but he still wants to do them and still does them periodically. So he gets about 1 bee treatment a month, and it does enormous things for him. And I have literally hundreds of stories of dementia patients, some Parkinson's patients, not all. Some don't get the effects, some do. But COVID long haul, I've helped with the bee venom, of course, restored many patients that were disabled from COVID long haul, in some cases in as little as 1 treatment. Things like marked shifts in ankle swelling, high blood pressure, fatigue, brain fog, all of it gone in 1 treatment. And the fact that's sticking is that they don't need follow-ups as often as Lyme disease will. And so it's been besides Lyme disease, COVID long haul has been my biggest new patient. And it sure is an honor to be here. And it's like I feel like I'm a little more normal talking to so many people about the magic of bees, because my family doesn't want to hear it. None of my friends want to hear it. And everybody thinks I'm a little kooky because I pretty much travel wherever I go with bees. I even just went down the Grand Canyon in Colorado for 22 days on river, and I had bees with me every day. I brought them with me. I slept with them at night. I kept them warm in my sleeping bag. And then I would use them for treatments and stuff. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I have another person on the screen there.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening. It's late night in here, so I'm really happy to be with you. I am having some unfortunate issue with my internet connection, so I am not quite sure why I'm here actually in front.
Oh, well, you just popped in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, here, maybe I'll grab my bees and show you guys what I travel with here. Little show and tell. So here's what I carry. So here's my bees. You see them in their box?
Yes.
And this was a box that has a lid on the top, so the lid opens here. And then we have a little curled lid inside, so it allows us to kind of corner the bees, and it makes it harder for them to climb out, because they do like to climb out. But the way we designed this box is we have 2 sides to it. We have one divider in the middle. So I have honey and water on one side here, and then I have them warm and dry on this side over here. And I've been able to carry bees. I can put about 100 bees in this box, maybe 200, and then carry them for about 2 to 3 weeks in this little box. And then if I'm flying on the airplanes in the United States, I have my other box here. And what this box does is it's got a nice lid on it. And that's where I carry my EpiPens. And if you can see that, and the Benadryl. And then this box is so nice because if I'm traveling on a plane, I can actually put my bees in the box like this, and then I can close it and know that they're going to be really well protected. and then I check that as checked baggage in my luggage. And then that way, if I'm flying into New York in the wintertime or something like that, I can bring the bees with me to treat, 20, 30 people in a week, and I can carry them all in my luggage and not have to find them locally. But most cases, like in Hawaii, I don't carry any bees into Hawaii because that could be a big legality. We don't want to import any diseases to Hawaii. And so that you can get in quite big trouble for that kind of stuff. So it is a little risky, but it's one of those things that when it's your medicine, we don't plan to let any of the bees escape. And since I do most of the work indoors, they don't really have a good chance of getting into the market out there. Can you ask Nina about how is apitherapy growing in kindergarten employees? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Yes.
Okay. I would like you to go deeper here. What information are you seeking? Since apitherapy in employees in kindergartens is actually the result of API kindergarten program so far, so we are not it is like with the benefit we gained and noticed, it was not, we were not aiming at the employees at first. When we were creating the program, we were trying to prepare something great and healthy for children. But after the 5 years of implementations of those programs, we noticed these results that resulted in less absence in their work and higher motivation and all these things. So if we talk about apitherapy and employees, they are very, very excited about it. And all the seminars and all the other educational events that we prepare for them so they can know how to participate, how to cooperate with this program. It is the most fascinating content for them. They want to know most about apitherapy, more than about bees itself, or maybe biodiversity or environment protection. It all interests them, all those issues, all those segments, but apitherapy is the winner because we usually provide them with information that they can use in their private life also.
And where is your program?
It is in Ljubljana, that's the capital city, and in about 30 kindergartens across Slovenia.
Oh, that's great. And do you have hives in the schools, like observation hives?
Yes, but not all of them. Not all of them. Some have that, but it's really actually a really rare situation for kindergarten to have observation hive. The most of them go on trip and visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they face bee products more than bees themselves.
Yeah. And are you actually stinging young children?
No. No. No, we are using the other bee products. Royal jelly in really small amounts. Mostly we use wax and honey and, of course, pollen and propolis.
Here's
So
another
do you
question.
have any case like the children get allergic to the others materials like pollens or propolis?
Yeah, of course we missed that, but about a couple of weeks ago we faced this a girl was allergic to propolis, but nothing severe happened, nothing really, there was no bad reaction, but she gained headache, but it passed out when it stopped when we stopped consuming propolis in her case. But it was connected with this other study that I mentioned that was not conducted by us. So in our seminars and our preparation for the employees, we also provide them with protocols of procedures and how to react, what to do if anything unfortunate happens, so they are well prepared for that. But so far, nothing really bad happened.
Here's another question. How can others implement such programs globally? And do you think it should be part of curriculum?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
believe it should be part of curriculum, since we have really good results when it goes to sustainable education, because it fulfills all these, I don't know how to say it in English, all these areas of sustainable education. It fulfills all of it, all the elements of it, all the goals. Um, we are thinking in that direction. So in this time, we are starting this international network of API kindergartens and schools. And we would really, I would really kindly invite everybody that's interested in cooperations to contact me, so we can start talking and organizing the educational events for that, to make it happen.
That sounds
We need to, yeah, we need to organize the international event, like seminar or something, so to spread the knowledge and to welcome you among us.
good. And is Lyme disease a problem in Slovenia? I believe it is. In most of the forested countries in Northern Europe, it's quite a problem.
I think in Slovenia we have all these modern diseases that we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all over the United States. And still today, most doctors in the United States say, oh, it's only in Connecticut and New York, but it's in every state. Every state has Lyme now. Yeah. Well, this is really exciting for sure. I want to this is all I want to do is take bees around the world, and my poor children, and I sting them regularly when they get a headache and they want ibuprofen or something. I say, we'll use a little bee venom. We start with bee venom, and then if that doesn't work, then maybe they get some aspirin or something, or Tylenol maybe. But yeah, it's an amazing thing to be part of, seeing the depth of knowledge that everyone is bringing to this convention, the amount of research, it's so exciting for me. I'm completely thrilled and blown away, and want to take this to the next level for sure. It's been very exciting 2 days.
I agree. I'm really happy for this conference. It's such a pleasure to see so many experts and to hear so many information. To see it fascinates me with the amount of knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Let's see, how can others implement? Well, we'll have to keep networking and see what we can do. I have a good friend in Canada that she makes beautiful observation hives that are the size of a door. They're very big, and they carry, I think, 8 frames in each hive, and it's called beewatch.ca, and she's in Vancouver. And they're the most beautiful observation hives, and she's working with scientists in Russia and Europe, I believe, and they're using far infrared heaters in the glass, and so they can kill the varroa mite from killing the bees. They can kill the mite with temperature. So they turn up the heater and get it really close to the edge of what would kill the bees, and they're finding that it's killing the mites without having to use any acids or chemicals. And so she has 6 of those hives around Vancouver in Canada, there in British Columbia. And she's an amazing contributor to this research as well.
So maybe next time we should invite her to join the conference.
Yes, I know she was really busy with COVID, having to move, and I honestly didn't even think about it till now. Like, I think the next conference we'll have, I would also like to invite my friend Dr. Amber Rose, who was a world leader in bee venom apitherapy in the United States. She's done clinical trials. She's proven it works for Lyme disease. And it's her clinical trial that I'm actually modeling my clinical trials that I want to do in order to get these international disease codes funded to where we can start really treating Lyme disease patients using bee venom acupuncture, because it works. And it's really, so many Lyme patients are suffering so silently and so lost, and they have no money, they can't work, they're disabled. It's a hopeless situation for a lot of people, and this is the big reason why I was even able to meet Bridget. Actually, is it was through patients in Australia that were seeking help, and she's done we're connecting with those patients right now. So. All right. Well, I wish we could get everybody on a table and sting them a little bit and get them feeling the if it's something to be experienced. Full sting apitherapy is very good and very intense, but when you do ancient acupuncture apitherapy using the micro stinging all over the body, if you don't have Lyme disease, it is incredibly exciting to see how it feels. I've had patients that with insomnia for 15 years, I give them one treatment for insomnia, they fall asleep on the table and they're like snoring. And it's so exciting to see how this can work. And I'm real excited. So let's see. I wonder if we have any more questions. Here we go. Paul Drew, what is the situation with COVID and bee venom? Maybe that's a typo. I can jump in and answer from what I've experienced. In my experience, the situation with COVID and bee venom is a synergistic relationship of healing. I have treated many COVID long haul patients that were suffering from high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, swollen ankles, deep fatigue, clouded brain, very easy to anger, poor wound healing, all kinds of things like that, phlegm in their lungs, exhaustion. And what I found is by working the bee venom along the acupoint meridians of the lung, large intestine, kidney, and liver, have generated massive healing in the body, as well as we sting stomach 36 on the legs. We go down and work some of the liver and spleen points on the feet, and that gets the swelling out of the ankles, and then also a little bit of venom around the brain and head. And when we're doing bee venom in the head, because it's like tonight, I did 5 full stings on my head because I had a bit of a tight neck and shoulders. And so I did quite a bit of venom just for fun. But I did a full sting on the top here, which is nice and swollen here. And then I did one behind each eyeball and one full bee on the occipital lobe of the base of my skull on both sides. Now, if somebody's dealing with COVID long haul and having vertigo and dizziness and insomnia, then we use these points behind the ear on the bone of the head. So we go to where the ear is, and then behind the ear on the bone right here. These are really good insomnia points. We also use the entire body is on the acupoint meridians of the ear. So if they're having brain issues, we sting the ear lobe because that is the brain and the eye. And then we also add venom throughout the spine and along the ear. And then we can go in and sting in the ear and also the vagus nerve. And it's kind of giving people an electronic reset. And my friend Dr. Amber Rose was explaining, since I got hit by lightning, it might have affected my heart condition, that I might have developed electrical issues with my heart, which I thought was intuitively very good that she mentioned that, because when I was early on with Lyme disease, I was having heart palpitations. And so I was using the bee venom along the heart meridians, and it actually really gives you an electrical boost. So let's see, Nina from Slovenia, who does wonderful work in apitherapy with kindergarten. Yeah, welcome. So Bridget was just texting saying, welcome, Nina.
Thank you.
So excited to see that. And yeah, I'm excited to travel the world and come meet all you people in person. And I'll be bringing bees with me. So I'll be
That's
finding.
wonderful. Yeah. I must say the parents of the children that are in our programs are welcome it also. We had experience uh, when we announced that that Nina is coming in kindergarten to perform a honey massage with the children. The This one girl's parents decided to postpone for one day their vacation. They wanted to go exactly that date on vacation. They already have paid hotel, but they postponed for a day so the girl could be with us when the honey massage in kindergarten was conducted.
Oh wow,
So
that's exciting. Now, did you have the bees clean the honey off?
no.
I'm hearing this is going on out there in the world. I'm hearing that people are putting honey on the body and then allowing the hive bees to come and eat the honey off.
Yeah, but not in kindergarten.
Yeah, no, I understand. I thought that was pretty courageous. That I would love to have a honey massage where they lick all the honey off. That would be very interesting.
Yeah,
Bridget,
and you have to be patient.
yeah, I think it'd take a while.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of exciting though. I think I would try it, but I'm definitely nervous. I don't think they would sting anybody as long as you don't squish them.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, my daughter. That's Bridget just posted a point. I don't know if you saw my daughter Esme. When COVID started, she was 6 years old, and I said it's time to learn acupuncture with the bees. And so she's been my therapist now for 3 years, and she does all the treatments on me. She's actually who stung my head tonight. Um, so I make her. It's like she's doing her homework, and I'm like, hey, I need some bees. Can you sting me? And she'll be like, okay, Dad. And so she's only 6 years old, and now she's 9, and it's like second nature to her. And it's just been it's been really amazing that when I first started this, I thought I was really strange and very weird, and then now that I've healed with bee venom, and even my wife's father thought I was totally psycho. He thought I'd lost my mind to be using bee venom, and then I ended up helping him find out he had Lyme disease, and his wife, and then so they've received treatments from me as well. So it's one of these things that a lot of people think it's weird, and then they end up with Lyme disease, and they're going to really enjoy it. So it's incredible for sports injuries, and I used it. I did get the COVID vaccination, which I wasn't excited about having to, but there was a lot of pressure where I was working to do that. And after the vaccination, I had quite a lot of pain in my spine, and I used bees for about 3 weeks afterwards to really reduce all that inflammation and feel normal again. So Bridget says, I hope you all join us in 2023. Any ideas of what our theme could be? Oh, I have an idea for sure. So Dr. Tran, how different native bee venom differ in chemical composition? Will bees from US have different effect from Slovenia?
To be honest, I'm not doing with the venom, but I can answer you from the propolis point of view. Native bees propolis in Australia, because native bees mainly in the tropical or subtropical regions. So if we go down to the south of Australia, we cannot find the native bees. And because of native bees living in the tropical and subtropical, so to pick up the resins from plants required has a lot of essential oils. So that is why if you smelled the native bee propolis and the honeybee propolis, they have different smell, and native bee propolis has very strong smell. And the chemical composition, there at the moment I'm still in the journey to investigate the chemical composition, but basically they're very diverse. and different regions had different florals, so the bees collect different. But based on what I learned from the research and also literatures, I can say is like bees very wisely select what they want and what help them to improve their immune system and also to help them against with the other predators. Not all the resins they pick up, they pick very selectively and very wisely.
Very well answered there.
What Rich is saying.
It's I've had a lot of people warn me that doing bee venom therapy could make us make people upset that we're taking money out of the pharmaceutical pockets. And I've had to just reiterate to myself that we use pharmaceuticals. They're still there. They've saved my life from pneumonia before. But really, there's a relationship going on between humanity and ourselves and nature around us. And that if we can start really working with nature's all the nutraceuticals that are already abundantly out there, it's going to improve our understanding of our relationship within this fabric of nature. And so I thought to answer her question of what would be a nice theme for next year's conference, I thought it would have to be about that, the relationship between humanity and nature, and that to dive deeper into that, because nature will save us from these things that come up in nature. And maybe we need to take a deeper look at how we can do that. Fits in well with Save the Bees, she says. Yeah, Bridget.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes,
It fits well with education also.
absolutely. I mean, and honestly, my children have benefited so deeply, even unknowingly, from what I do with the bees now. And even here where I am in New Mexico, I have 4 hives outside, and 3 of them I have one hive as a control, and then 3 hives I have reptilian heaters in them with the thermostat. And what I'm doing is adding just very little bits of electricity at night. So when the hive gets, normally, like, we get 20 below zero temperatures here, and that's so cold the bees can struggle to find food in the hive. They'll be too cold. And I've found that since I'm using my bees throughout the winter for treatments, I don't want them to go into hibernation to sleep too deeply. And so I use this heater that turns on only at 40 degrees. And if the bees warm up the hive any more than that, then the heater goes off again. So it really just keeps the bees at an ideal sort of temperature. And what I've found is that my hives gain so much weight in the spring because they're not struggling and weak when the spring comes and in these severe climates. And so I know many beekeepers that have lost, half their hives every winter. And since I've been doing the heating, just a mild amount of heating literally costs like $1 a month. I'm saving all my hives every winter and having huge honey harvests in the spring because the bees are so strong. So I'm experimenting on everything, on how to raise them, how to feed them, what to do, the Varroa mite treatments. I'm following many wonderful scientists that have taught me enormous things, and I'm just continuing on with it. And I hope to see it that one day it'll be commonplace to have bee venom therapy all over the United States in cafes, if you will. Like, you could go get some propolis tea, have a bee venom therapy session, maybe get a cryogenic session, have a sauna, have it be commonplace. But it's things like this event that are going to make it more commonplace. And I'm just so excited to be part of it. All right. Well, if there's any other, maybe I'll put my email in here. Any questions anybody has, please email me anytime and I will get back to you. And both you doctors, I'm excited to connect with again. I'll be following up after this event.
Sure.
And thank you so much, Bridget, for all you've done to put this together. It's been one of the most exciting things I've done in a long time with the public awareness of bees in the U.S. I've been kind of under the table a little with it.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I would like to thank Bridget also for all her heart in this event. I'm sure everybody feels it like I do. I'm really excited about events like that, and I think that it does not stop with preschool children that we are doing. It's lifetime story for educating, for raising awareness, and for knowing how this cooperation with these little beings that are so magnificent, it's really important, and it's really it fills my heart with joy when we work through empathy, when we try to work with them, because through empathy we only can understand that in its empathy correlates heart and mind. So I think we can do a lot by that when it goes to save the bees and when it goes to spreading knowledge.
Yeah, Nina, again, well said. Well said.
Yeah, and also to say thank you, Bridget and Kelly as well, and the others people in the background that organized this conference.
So many
Hopefully,
people.
see you
Yeah,
next time. Yes.
thank you all. Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, until then, I will sign off with be well. That's be well, and yeah, we will talk again. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me and being part of this and making it happen. It's really exciting.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings.